Good morning and welcome, everyone, to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Grand Traverse. We're glad to have you with us, whether in person or streaming from home. I'm Susan Smith, the coordinator of this service on social justice as a religious tradition. At the beginning of the order of service, you will know our land acknowledgement, a request to silence electronic devices, and a notice about the book at the front of our sanctuary in which you can record your joys and concerns and or light a candle of commemoration as you prefer. Please feel free to do so as we are getting started. A member of the Congregational Care Team, Carl Kyneth, will read what you choose to share a little later in the service. Here at the UUCGT, we are a welcoming congregation, which means that we believe each individual, with their unique personhood in all its manifestations, is a gift to our community. It means that we recognize and appreciate that in the fact of joining us and being authentically present in all of your diversity, you have placed your trust in us. It is an awesome entrustment, a trust that we individually and collectively must be mindful to deserve. That is our promise as a welcoming congregation to each of you. If you are new to our congregation or haven't been here for a while and are willing and able, you may stand to introduce yourself. Someone will bring you a microphone, which will allow even those streaming from home to hear your introduction. However, please feel free to remain seated and silent if you prefer. And very importantly, it is our intention to honor your preferences, whatever they may be. Is there anyone who would like to introduce themselves today?
Good morning. I'm very pleased to be here. I'm Martha Curtis, and I was a member of the Unitarian Universalist Church in Richmond, Virginia. I've lived here actually for a while. I moved up here to be close to family, and then there was a pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad I finally got out of bed to come and visit this church.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good morning. My name is Kelly. I'm here with my husband Stephen and my friend Christine. I have never been here before, but I was also a member of the Richmond, Virginia Unitarian Universalist Church. It's been many years, but yeah. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
Welcome, Kelly, Christine, and Stephen. And is there only one other UU church in the country? For our social hour following services, we've designated yellow mugs for those we haven't met. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you very much.
The way you asked that question just made me stand up. So Anthony Showalter, I'm from the Unitarian Church of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm just visiting for the weekend and glad to be here. Thank you.
Glad to have you. Welcome. We're good. Okay. For our social hour, we have designated yellow mugs for those we haven't seen previously or seen lately. This will enable us to identify you folks and welcome you personally to our beloved community. I am proud and honored to be a member of this beloved community, which follows in Martin Luther King Jr.'s footsteps and our own UU values of standing up for the least among us and essentially doing good in the world. Nowhere was that more exemplified than in the words of Episcopalian Bishop Mary Ann Edgar Buddy of the Washington, D.C. Diocese. Yeah. On Tuesday in the National Cathedral prayer service, when she asked the incoming president for mercy for those who feel vulnerable and afraid, and she pointed out some communities of those. Bishop Buddy bravely and unconventionally chose to speak truth to power from the pulpit and to hold power to account. May we all find the strength within ourselves to stand up and speak out for those oppressed and persecuted among us. This is our hope. This is our dream. This is our aspiration. Let us now turn our attention to the centering music performed by Julie Gobbets on piano.
Whoever you are and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here with us this morning. I'm Reverend Alex, the senior minister here at UUCGT. I use he and him pronouns. And I don't know about you, but I can confidently say that love is my religion, peace is my religion, and social justice is my religion. Amen? Yes. You're in the wrong kind of place if those aren't your religion. Just want to make that clear. We'll be exploring today what some of our world traditions have to teach us about social justice as its own tradition today. And as we settle into this time together, I invite you to hear these words by the Reverend Dr. Rebecca Savage. She writes, "We gather together today with sacred intention to declare that justice is our prayer. We affirm in covenant with the beloved community that is still possible, not here, not quite yet. The seeds have been planted time and again, and we remember all those who went before us, who made beloved community a dream that could be realized. Justice is our prayer. May our time of worship and service together continue to water the budding trees of our diverse interdependence. May our time of worship give air and nourishment to the parts of our collective spirits that need to grow and thrive, that embrace equity as a known way of being. Justice is our prayer. We affirm in covenant with the beloved community that is still possible. May it be so, and let us worship together this morning.
As Reverend Alex lights the chalice, I have taken from the UUA website a reading that I'd like to share with you. When we light the chalice in worship, we illuminate a world that we feel called upon to serve with love and a sense of justice. That flame is what one of our beloved hymns terms the fire of commitment. I ask you now to turn to the back of your order of service and join me in reading our mission statement. Grounded in love, we protect the web of life by building beloved community, making good trouble, embodying radical love, engaging in lifelong learning. Now we sound the singing bowl to focus our attention in this moment together.
In body or in spirit, and join us in singing hymn number 121, We'll Build a Land, found in your gray hymnal.
Dissolves all mourning. Good morning. Hi. Oh, yeah. Hi, good morning. Any other young friends here or young at heart that want to come join us up front? Hi. I missed you all last week. How are we? I missed you all last week. Hi. I missed everybody last week. I was at home watching from my bed. Oh, but it's good to be back with everyone. How are we doing? Good? Good? It's good to see you. I like your bow tie. You're looking real cool today. So, my friends, I have a story for us this morning. Yay. We love a story. No? We have mixed reactions to our story this morning, apparently. All right, so this story is called Oh, the Things We Are For. I like that it kind of looks like Oh, the Places You'll Go, that Dr. Seuss book, and it kind of reminds me of that in a lot of ways. And this book is by Inosanto Nagara. Have any of you ever been to a march before, where you get to like hold a cool sign and fight for something that you believe in? No? No? That's okay. Grown-ups, have you ever been to a march before? Yeah, I knew it. So this is a book about going to a march and why we might go to a march. I see a little hand. Have you been to a march before? Or you just, yeah, awesome. I love going to a march. When I was a teacher a long time ago, I got to go to the Women's March in a place called Seneca Falls, which is where the very first convention of women who are trying to get suffrage. I don't know what that is. That looks like maybe somebody was trying to pull the Christmas trees out and there's detritus from the Christmas trees. Anyway, but I got to go to this march and I got to bring, we had a kind of like our jet pig. We had his name was Reptar and he was a dragon. He was our class pet. He was a stuffed dragon and I got to bring him with us and he kind of represented all of my students and got to go with me to the Women's March, which was very exciting. Yeah, it was really neat. But marching is something that we do to, did I bring who? I did not bring the dragon today because it lives in New York at my old school. I don't have him anymore because he still lives at my old school. He's still hanging out with all my students back there, or now new students because they're not there anymore. But anyway, this is about going to a march. When you go to a march and you raise your sign high, you'll make people smile who thought you were shy. And you'll make people wonder, does that kid really know why? You do know, of course. That's why you are there. You're there to say no, because you do care. You're there to say, stop. What's happening's not fair. We can't keep doing what we're doing the way it's been done. We can't keep using it, moving it, running it how it's been run. Standing together, that's how change can be won. So yes, you do know what's up and why you're there. But that's not the big question, at least not for me. It's not folks who don't know or just disagree. It's folks who want to be with us, but feel that they simply just can't see. I feel like I've seen some of you make this face before this. I feel like I've seen this from you, Ollie, before. Like that guy up there, he goes, But we're going to find out, right? Folks who say we want to resist, we're on the same page. Our problems are serious, that's easy to see. Destruction must stop, we can't let it be. Stop polluting and poisoning and cheating and stealing. No one likes dictators or violence or kids going hungry. End poverty, stop war. But okay, then what are you for? This is all the things we're against, right? But what do we want? What do we want our world to be? Oh, what are we for? That is my favorite question, and I'm sure it's yours too, because you pay attention. You have so many answers and so many options and so many solutions that you want to impart. The only hard question is, where does one start? I know we've talked before about all of the things in our world that we care about and all of the things in our world that we want to make better. And it's hard to pick just one thing. But here's some ideas. We have to start somewhere, so let's take a pick. Take something we all do. We all get sick. We get wheezy and sneezy and snuffly noses. We get headaches and tummy aches and sometimes throw up. So we sip some hot soup and we get a good rest, and soon we feel better and get back to our best. But sometimes being sick is harder than that. The nurses may say we need more than just rest. The doctors may want to give us a test. Perhaps they'll tell us to get an x-ray. It might even mean a hospital stay. Have any of you had to go to the hospital before? Yeah, that's not a fun time. It's kind of scary. But when there's a virus that starts to run wild, more people get sicker. Some cases are mild. And so many sickies and means so many meds and not enough nurses and not enough beds. But then we are asked, who's going to pay? Sadly, the answer is pretty not funny. When companies decide to make all their money deciding who gets cared for and who does not, depending on cash that you put in their pot. So if you have means to get care that you need, or if you have means you can get care that you need, but if you don't, well, you're in trouble indeed. So here's an idea that we all can share. We all do our part and put in what's fair. And then when we need it, we have access to care. So health care for all is a good thing that we're for. Should I go on and continue this tour? No problem, for sure. We all know now that the climate's a-changin'. The earth is a-warmin', the sea level's risin', the ice shelves are melting, which is not at all surprising, since science was warning that the globe will keep warming if we keep burning the stuff we've been burning. But is there an answer? Some people may ask. Why, yes, you say, if we're up to the task. What are some of the things that we've talked about before about how we can protect our planet? Yeah, less pollution, right? Using less stuff, recycling when we can, all those good things. Look up, you exclaim. What do you see? A huge ball of plasma, clean energy for free. So instead of drilling and spilling and, let's be honest, even killing for dirty, dead dino goop that should stay in the ground, let's embrace the sun, wind, and earth. Nature's power will always abound. If anyone's still not sure what you mean, we can change so our future is green. Well, it starts with committing to making it real. We can start working together to seal a new deal. Wow, they say. Universal health care, they say. Solar energy, such big things for a kid. Oh, okay, that's cool, but shouldn't you be focused on kid things like play dates and school? School and play, why yes, on that we have much to say. We learn more with more recess and time to eat lunch. Much smaller classes, we can't learn in a crunch. If we memorize and drill and talk to be tested, real thinking does not get invested. Critical minds can't flourish that way. And speaking of teaching, our teachers need much better pay. I hear a hearty amen from the teachers in the room. We need schools that are safe. We need freedom to range. We need libraries and sports. We need cultural exchange. We need music and arts to fill our brains and our hearts. We should be seen as whole people with many different kinds of smarts. There are so many ideas upon which we can call for a free and fair and public education for all. But now let's get personal. Let's talk about we. Let's talk about you, and let's talk about me. Let's talk about us and the many, many ways we can be. Let's celebrate the splendor of spectrums of gender. Let's recognize and value the many hues of our skin, the many languages we speak, our many lands of origin. To whom one may pray, with whom one shares love, the diverse ways our minds work, our bodies we're proud of. Those who've always been here on whose lands we now tread, those who dare to speak up, those who act quietly instead. But let's also be clear that harm has been done. Futures were stolen by sword and by gun. We can't flip a switch and say that we're there. A history of injustice takes more to repair. To balance the scales, we must reclaim what they stole and do the hard work that makes us all whole. Making us whole, that's really the theme. It's not as difficult as it may seem. Lock them up, they say, throw away the key. That's the quick fix for what some want to see. But let's take a moment and take a close look. Who gets locked up, where, how, and why? You'll see there's a problem that one can't deny. A pattern of how the judgments we face are different for each based on money or race. And if things were quote unquote fair and those doing time deserved to be there, is putting humans in cages the best we can do? In 10,000 years, have we learned nothing new? We have, of course, and that's the good news. There are much better options for which we can choose. Lift up the idea that we dispose of no one. We're each of us more than our worst act. There's no panacea, and work must be done. Liberations for all of us, or else for no one. Speaking of work, we have ideas there too. Things we can change, things that we can do. So many people work hard for their pay, but hardly make ends meet at the end of the day. And as if just working wasn't hard enough, they're also all alone when the going gets rough. There are so many ways that these things can be tough. We don't even have room to list all that stuff. But suffice it to say, there's many a way where workers have rights and workers have sway, where we work with each other in union as one, or better yet, in co-ops for fairness and fun. And when our rights come under attack, we will know who's got our back. Okay, I know, this is a lot, but hey, they asked, so they get what you got. They opened the door for solutions galore when they asked you, what are you for? Maybe they'd hoped for something lighthearted, but you, my friend, are just getting started. So as you can see, there is much to be done, much to be fixed, and much to be run. But having to do stuff isn't so bad. Let's roll up our sleeves. Let's do something rad. Let's shout out solutions from sea to sea. Let's yell out our favorites. I hope you'll join me. All right, somebody yell out your favorite. One of your favorite things that we're gonna do. Democracy. Science. The climate, taking care of our planet. All right, kiddos. More democracy. Amen. All right, kiddos, what do you think? What are we gonna do?
I'm sorry, I can't function when it's
It's too loud, okay. Do you want to whisper what you want to do? Do we want to take care of the animals? Do we want to take care of our planet? There's so many things. To you, these ideas are never a bore. You've already shared many and have many, oh so many more. When you care for the world as much as you do, creating solutions is oh so you. Of course, not all solutions are the best they can be, and on some things we may disagree. But it all starts with caring and agreeing to sharing, a radical act if we are daring. But this is all stuff that you already know. You're ready to go. You're ready to soar. You're ready to start. You're ready to roar. So off now, let's go. Let us start working. Let us start building the future we're for. All right, should we sing our song, my friends? Yes? Yes?
No.
No? Well, we're going to do it anyway.
Would any of you like to help me lead today?
Ooh, do you want to help Miss Anne Marie lead? Yeah? Oh, Elliot does. Awesome. Perfect. There we go. Now we can all see you. We are children of the stars. We are children of the earth. We are spinners and weavers in this web of life. And the joy that we weave reaches out beyond the stars and deep within the center of our being. We are children of tomorrow.
What an ambitious book. I think it could have been a chapter book. It was wonderful. Okay, we've now reached the time in our service where we give freely of our own resources to sustain our congregation, our building, our staff, and our programming. In addition, our stewardship allows us to reach out to those who are the most marginalized and vulnerable among us. Our offerings truly reflect our commitment to our UU shared values. Please note the two sides of the baskets being passed. They are labeled congregation and community needs. Place your donations as you wish. If you are watching at home, you may give as described in the slide. I always have to look to make sure the slide's really there. Mail a check, visit the UUCGT website, download the Vanco Mobile Faith Engagement app, or prearrange with your bank for a monthly transfer into the UUCGT account. However you give, you may always designate your gift as you choose for the congregation or for community needs. Let us enjoy our meditation music performed by Julie Galbitz.
Carl Kyneth, and I'm here to share the joys and concerns that have been shared with us today. It is our practice as a religious community to set aside time in our service to name and honor the joys and concerns that mark our lives, the milestones and moments of our lived experience. I will be sharing the joys and concerns that have been offered up for us to hold in our hearts today. If you have a joy or concern that's a bit too heavy to share, I invite you to reach out to Reverend Alex or to the congregational care team. If your joy or concern is still raw and tender, we invite you to hold it in your heart as you are held in this loving community. None of us is meant to travel life's journey alone. And now, here is what has been shared with this gathered community. Susan Smith writes, "Concern for the many who find themselves the targets of the president's cruel and often illegal actions, those who are citizens by virtue of being born in this country, our black and brown siblings who are targeted due to the color of their skin and the loss of so many rights guaranteed by our Constitution and our long-standing laws. Chris and Rick Walter write, blessings to Bishop Mary Ann Edgar Biddle of the National Cathedral, who spoke truth to power this last Wednesday. She espoused beliefs of UU and many faiths. Mary Van Valen and Rick Radke write, as concerns mount, we are so grateful for living in a community that has many partners working for justice. And this one is not signed. We have 8 youth from our community registered for our OWL Comprehensive Sexuality Education Program, which begins next weekend. Please keep our facilitators, Chelsea, Betsy, and Reverend Alex, in your hearts as we embark on this journey and do this important, radical work. Emily writes, for the life of Patrick Nestor, who will leave us very soon. He has been so generous to so many. He is a good, kind soul who will be greatly missed. We love you, Pat. And Charlie Bellinger writes, it has been a year since my mother, Marcia Bellinger, passed. Seems like yesterday. My brother Charlie and I will be forever grateful to her for leading us to this beloved community. And that was actually written by Amanda Mangiardi and Charlie Bellinger. And finally, I have a poem, A Joy, from Marty Mader, who has written a poem about her journey to finding community with us at UUCGT. Unitarian Universalist Congregation, Traverse City. What a name. Not really very pretty. Unitarian Universalist Congregation, Grand Traverse. Another name, if possible, could be that worse. But a welcoming community, that is for sure. Their open invitation seems definitely pure. I'm not sure I can join, but enjoy the themes, especially the questions that speak to some dreams. The pain of dissolution of my Catholic background was helped by a promise of a theory newfound. If I am only accountable to me, decide my need to keep learning and trying the community to feed. The golden rule is for us to follow and believe, blessings from God for us and others to receive. And now, let's hold a moment of stillness for the joys and concerns that remain in the silence of our hearts.
Would you join me in a moment of prayer? Spirit of life and justice, hold us close in these trying times. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand to truly give life the shape of justice. Help us to hold one another close in this time when many of us are scared and feeling our most alone. Stir in our hearts to move us to confront cruelty with kindness, callousness with mercy, and selfishness with love. Call us forth and remind us that we are the inheritors of a great and sacred tradition that goes long before us. A tradition beyond any particular religion or name, a tradition that links us with all those who have gone before, and have strived and struggled for justice. Give us the strength to make good trouble in all of the places where good trouble is sorely needed. And as we speak truth to power, as we fight for those who have the least, assure us that we are not and will never be alone. We stand on the shoulders of one another, on our refuge and community, where all might be welcomed to nurture ourselves into the best versions of ourselves that we can be. Draw near, dear Spirit. Amen. Let's join as we sing our hymn of response, Spirit of Life.
Today's reading is an excerpt from All About Love by Bell Hooks, a renowned scholar, cultural critic, and activist. In this excerpt, Hooks highlights how embracing love as an ethical framework can challenge systems of oppression, nurture social justice, and inspire collective action for a more equitable world. She writes, culturally, all spheres of American life, politics, religion, the workplace, domestic households, intimate relations should and could have as their foundation a love ethic. The underlying values of a culture and its ethics shape and inform the way we speak and act. A love ethic presupposes that everyone has the right to be free, to live fully and well. Individuals who choose to love can and do alter our lives in ways that honor the primacy of a love ethic. We do this by choosing to work with individuals we admire and respect, by committing to give our all to relationships, by embracing a global vision wherein we see our lives and our fate as intimately connected to those of everyone else on the planet. Commitment to a love ethic transforms our lives by offering us a different set of values to live by. In large and small ways, we make choices based on a belief that honesty, openness, and personal integrity need to be expressed in public and private decisions. Living by a love ethic, we learn to value loyalty and a commitment to sustain bonds over material advancement. While careers and making money remain important agendas, They never take precedence over valuing and nurturing human life and well-being. Embracing a love ethic means that we utilize all the dimensions of love: care, commitment, trust, responsibility, respect, and knowledge in our everyday lives. Being aware enables us to critically examine our actions to see what is needed so that we can give care, be responsible, show respect, and indicate a willingness to learn. Domination cannot exist in any social situation where a love ethic prevails. When love is present, the desire to dominate and exercise power cannot rule the day. All the great social movements for freedom and justice in our society have promoted a love ethic. Concern for the collective good of our nation, city, or neighbor rooted in the values of love makes us all seek to nurture and protect that good. Thank you.
When I was in high school, social justice was my religion. Growing up in an atheist agnostic household, I didn't have any traditional religious or spiritual outlook. Yet between attending late-night school board meetings to standing up to my childhood bullies, there was something innate in me with how I came to see the world and my own role in making it a more just place. My feelings only intensified, as you can imagine, when I became a Unitarian Universalist. Finally, I had the name for a religion that was all about social justice. Right around the time I became a UU, back in middle school, I joined my school's LGBTQ+ activism club, the Gay Straight Alliance. I became further incensed with how poverty and hunger were continuing to impact my local community in the San Francisco Bay Area, impacting many neighbors who were unhoused and without shelter. I even took a first ever offered class at my high school, a social justice class, one that I thought was the coolest of all the classes and had only just a few competitive seats available. I was lucky to get one of those seats. Social justice was my religion and is, especially in the ways I continue to see it reflected in the beliefs and values of my other religion, Unitarian Universalism. Before Unitarian Universalism, I longed for a spiritual home where social justice was not just front and center, but where people actually lived out their beliefs and values rather than just paying them nice lip service. That's what I've continued to find powerful about Unitarian Universalism, a religion where we truly say what we mean and endeavor to actually live into our shared values and principles rather than just saying them as nice words on a Sunday. This morning, we're talking about social justice itself as a religious tradition, something that goes beyond the confines of any particular religious or spiritual tradition itself, something that even transcends these traditions to be a tradition and lineage in its own right. Indeed, it's not news to you that many of the world's traditions speak to the importance of loving our neighbors as ourselves and showing hospitality, compassion, and kindness to strangers, to those who are different from ourselves or hold differing identities, beliefs, values, and perspectives. Traditional religion has long inherited these teachings and values, and yet it has also largely failed to live them fully out. Today, we see a rise in movements of white Christian nationalism across our country, a caustic and deadly movement where those who would call themselves Christians readily refute a teaching, a gospel of showing kindness and mercy to immigrants or LGBTQ+ folks, to Black and Indigenous folks and people of color, and to those who are considered least in our society. I'm particularly thinking about the Right Reverend Marianne Buddy, who Susan mentioned in her welcome, who this past week at the Washington National Cathedral implored the president to show mercy to those who are afraid for their lives. I was horrified to see some of the kickback she received from so-called Christians who said her words have no place in a religious service or mass, if you can dare to believe. How maybe Reverend Buddy herself should be added to the deportation lists. Such ugly and awful sentiments toward a religious leader preaching the truth as she sees it and clinging to the classical teachings of her faith that invite us all to love our enemies as ourselves and care for those who are the least of these. So while some traditions and strands attempt to cheapen this message of taking the loving your neighbor as yourself out of the lexicon of religion, I think it's an important time for us to reclaim social justice from those who would stifle it or would even throw it out altogether. As Unitarian Universalists, I think of no other group who are quite as natural to taking up social justice. There's actually a running joke in UU spheres that maybe you've heard before, that you can always spot a UU on the road because of their many bumper stickers. I used to pull into parking lots as a teen and young adult, always knowing I was in the right place if I started to see those bumper stickers. And I've even seen some of your own cars out there in our parking lot. I know some of you are well on your way. Today, I want to make the case that a love ethic itself must be at the heart of our religious and spiritual traditions, or else we risk losing ourselves morally, ethically, and spiritually. I want to showcase for you a few religious traditions and what they have to teach us about social justice that goes beyond their own individual traditions. Ultimately, I believe this is a critical time for us pastors, ministers, churches, and congregations to speak truth to power and empire. We're at a time when the forces of empire seek to water down our messaging, to preserve the sensibilities and, yes, profits of those select few, those billionaires, oligarchs, and folks in business who pull the strings. My charge to you is to recommit yourself to this sacred tradition of social justice and to find your own well and spiritual fount from which you can derive both nourishment and strength. This is going to be a long haul, and we need our spiritual resources and tools for the ever-growing wilderness if we're ever going to make it through somehow. So let's dive in and see what a few religions have to teach us about social justice as its own emergent tradition. I want to start first with Buddhism, a tradition whose founding story is one of social justice and facing inequity in society. Siddhartha Gautama, also known as the Buddha, was an Indian prince who grew up wealthy and sheltered from the world and all of its ills. And as a young adult, he became curious about the outside world beyond the palace walls and even snuck out to see it. Wandering the streets, he came face to face with death and suffering, coming upon a man who was old and frail, another who was ill and sickly, and a corpse of a man who had died. As the legend goes, up until this point, Siddhartha hadn't yet encountered these things, and these sights of old age, illness, and death simply just broke his heart open. He became convicted to discover that what the causes were truly of human suffering. Dedicating his life to this mission, he left his wealth and prestige behind to live the life of a spiritual seeker. And in the end, Siddhartha's encounter with human suffering brought him to a state of deep compassion, realizing that suffering itself and being in touch with those who are suffering is actually the gateway to our compassion. Buddhism teaches us that to live a full life is to suffer, but it is also to encounter the deep suffering of our neighbors and to turn toward this suffering with compassion and care. Individual suffering is inextricably linked with social and communal suffering. You cannot separate these two, for cultivating the insight and awareness of others' suffering leads us to be kind and friendly to all of our neighbors, not just those who are doing well or who are just like us. So Buddhism teaches us that in social justice, our suffering is connected. What affects one affects us all. Now I'd like to turn to the Abrahamic traditions, the traditions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all of which have core teachings of social justice and caring for those who are vulnerable and oppressed. While these teachings may go by many different names, they are every bit the same in how we are to regard those that have less than we do. That is, we are to care for the widows and the orphans, the strangers in our midst, for we all were once strangers. To give to those who are hungry and thirsty, to give a portion of what we have to those who are in need. Teachings around justice itself tell us that justice is actually a divine mandate. The familiar quote from the Hebrew Bible, "What does the Lord require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." In Islam, the Quran teaches that all believers are to uphold justice for one's neighbors, even when this is hard or inconvenient, and may even come at great personal cost. In Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, it is the weak and the meek that will inherit the earth. That systemic change is not only coming, but inevitable if we are to truly see heaven and earth become one. The Abrahamic traditions teach us that social justice is a mandate of each of ours, to recognize and affirm the inherent dignity and worthiness of every person, no matter who they are or where they come from. Living and working for justice is required of us, not because it's easy, but precisely because it's difficult. We learn and grow when we care for those who are different from ourselves. And these traditions teach us that justice itself is non-negotiable. You do not have faith if you don't love your neighbors as yourself. What you have instead are empty rituals and words that are void of action. Justice is required of you, not just a humble suggestion. Lastly, let's turn to the Sikh tradition, a monotheistic religion in India that stresses equity, justice, and service to humanity. How many of you are familiar with Sikhism as a tradition? I see a few hands here. I actually was really lucky to grow up in the San Francisco Bay Area, where I actually had some friends growing up who were Sikh. And Sikhism itself is a radical tradition that attempts to subvert the social order, asserting the full equality of every person. Not only are women, men, and people of all genders seen as equal, all of us, no matter our race, religion, caste, or social standing, are essentially the same. Said another way, by Sikhism's founder Guru Nanak, all beings are equal in the eyes of God. What's striking about these teachings of radical equality is that idea that there is a divine essence that can be found within all living beings. Sikhs live this out in acts of selfless service, also known by the Punjabi word seva, voluntary service that expects nothing in return. In Amritsar, India, the city with Sikhism's famous Golden Temple, they serve over 100,000 free meals a day to anyone in need. Many Sikh temples known as Gurudwaras across the country and world also provide this radical hospitality of free meals for all who needs to eat. And I'm pretty sure that includes everyone. Sikhism teaches us that at the heart of serving others is the knowledge that we are all equal in dignity and worth. No matter who we are or how we are born into this world, the essence of God, the divine, or of our very universe is found within each person. Sikhism reminds us that our endeavors for social justice are rooted in our abilities to be selfless rather than self-serving. For all of us are in need of kindness, grace, and mercy in a world where so many continue to go hungry. I want to now revisit our reading, an excerpt from the radical feminist, author, and educator, Bell Hooks. In this excerpt, Hooks refers to what she calls a love ethic. As she writes, "A love ethic presupposes that everyone has the right to be free, to live fully and well. Embracing a love ethic means that we utilize all of our dimensions of love, care and commitment, trust and responsibility, respect and knowledge in our everyday lives. Domination cannot exist in any social situation where a love ethic prevails. When love is present, the desire to dominate and exercise power cannot rule the day. What a powerful quote and reminder for our times that we're in. As people of religion and as people of faith, it is our task to reclaim religion in the name of love. It is our task to bring forth the timeless wisdom and truths that each of our traditions hold that compels us to open our hearts and to broaden our tables. It is true that morality itself doesn't come from religion. If that were true, then parking lots after Sunday services would be the most polite places on earth. Instead, religion comes from our earnest human desire to come together with others and to be made whole. We must not allow those who would take the love ethic out of religion to have the final say. We must ensure that we show up publicly and bear witness to these spiritual truths that ground us and hold us close. To close, perhaps you too find yourself yearning for a faith, for a religion that lives its values out loud. Perhaps you too come to the shores of Unitarian Universalism, surprised that you've already been one for some time now. Or perhaps you find yourself still in that realm of discernment, that place within you where your only holy place that feels like home is in the struggle for justice, for peace. Whatever it is that grounds you, that sustains you in these trying times, I want you to know that you do not journey alone. We Unitarian Universalists dare to make a love ethic real, a society in which all of us can flourish and lead full and vibrant lives. Don't let religion throw the love ethic out of faith. That is a separation, a divorce that will not stand. Instead, I challenge you to be faithful to that tradition of social justice that calls you to picket lines and street corners, that calls you to city council meetings and Senate halls, that tradition that is written on your heart that calls you to have compassion for others, for all who are suffering. May we be ever faithful to this tradition, to this ethic of love and justice, to build that better world that we so desperately dream of. We cannot give up now. Amen. Let us join in a brief moment of stillness together. So as in every Unitarian Universalist service, we like to shake things up a little bit. And so you'll notice that we're going to do our favorite part of the service, the great litany of announcements, a little bit earlier. We kind of were feeling like maybe we might be running out of a little bit of steam toward the end of the service. So I just have a couple today. It won't be quite a litany. I invite you to join us after the service today for our UU orientation for any of you that are interested in the pathway to membership, or maybe are curious about either becoming a member or even growing more involved with the UUCGT. We'll have a little bit of a pause for you to stretch your legs, grab some coffee and snacks, and then we invite you to join us back here in the sanctuary if you're interested in that. But I also want to point out that there's an Our Whole Lives orientation also happening this Sunday. So if any of you are caregivers or parents or are kind of curious about the OWL program, there's an orientation happening down the hall, I believe, in the RE space. Just want to make that clear for any of you parents that are also interested in that. And then I have an announcement here from the Social Justice Action Team. Please review the SJA calendar in the social hall and on the social justice page of the website. There are a variety of activities for you to choose from. Pick one to do with a friend this week. Living out social justice is in our covenant. Now let us sing together.
Rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing hymn number 1035 found in the Teal hymnal, Freedom is Coming. We're going to layer in a few different parts here today, and then it's going to get soupy. So join in whatever way you feel the Spirit moving you, whether that's clapping and dancing, whether that's singing one of the parts or all of the parts. This is just for fun, okay?
As Reverend Alex releases the flame today, I want to share these words adapted from Dan Tholen during our On Tyranny service. Oh, I just lost him. Hold on. Maybe Dan remembers them. Hold on. Okay. We end our service now by releasing the flame from the chalice, but it remains a burning reminder of our need for vigilance against tyranny, giving us the resolve to actively resist when we can and to offer assistance to the members of our community who suffer.
Now, if you'd please rise in body or in spirit and join in taking the hand of your neighbor. Or if you're online or you're in the room and you don't want to be touched, we also have the sign of "Please do not touch me." We respect that here too. So please outstretch your hands if you're one of those folks. And in the spirit of covenant, community, and commitment, and in the spirit of social justice and a love ethic that holds us all, may we be made ready to serve one another and create the world we so desperately dream of. Go in peace. Happy Sunday. Pass a little squeeze.